Howdy friends. Love it or hate it, No Man's Sky has undeniably inspired plenty of passionate people over the years. As one of those fanatics myself, I thought it'd be fun to look back at some of the community's most impressive feats, from demaking the game to walking around an entire planet. I'm Kanaju, and these are 5 of the craziest things No Man's Sky players have ever done. Now, before we begin, I won't be covering any in-game builds in this video, as in base building. These are awesome, honestly, truly awesome, but there are just so many to choose from that they deserve their own video. Alright, so let's get started. Number 5. Low Mem Sky. Demakes are a popular trend these days. While games have never looked better than they do today, many nostalgic gamers like to imagine how modern games might have looked if released on classic hardware. We're talking retro graphics, sound effects, and gameplay. In 2018, Paul Nicholas created a No Man's Sky demake for itch.io's Demake Jam. Designed for the Pico 8 fantasy console, Low Mem Sky manages to fit a procedurally generated universe of over 180 billion star systems into a 32 kilobyte cartridge. Seriously, look at the size of this thing. You have the start screen, you have procedurally generated landscapes, resources to gather, space stations to trade with. It's a pretty impressive scope for such limited specs. In fact, I think it does an excellent job of capturing the essence of what makes No Man's Sky so enticing to fans. It's a true labor of love, and if you're interested in trying it for yourself, the game is still available to play free in your browser right now. I'll put a link in the description below. Happy travels! Number 4. The Pilgrim's Path. If you've been around the No Man's Sky community for a while, you may have heard of something called the Pilgrim Star. It inspired the Pilgrim Star Path app, an early way of navigating the universe, and most likely the Pilgrim player title, though it no longer seems related. Completely unrelated, though, to the Pilgrim exocraft. You see, the Pilgrim Star system is home to daymeeuhn, excuse me if I mispronounced that, the planet that one Redditor known as Steambot famously walked all the way around after launch in 2016. This incredible feat took Steambot an estimated 40 to 45 hours to complete over the course of 2 weeks, and that's using the melee boost to get along quicker than you could on foot. The accomplishment garnered plenty of positive press and community acknowledgement at a time when discourse about No Man's Sky was more toxic than ever. It also shed light on the true scale of No Man's Sky's planets, being more like small moons than actual life-size planets like Earth. In his final post celebrating the end of his journey, Steambot wrote, "I'm relieved to be finished, but it's bittersweet. In a way, I'm going to deeply miss daymeeuhn, but I never want to see it again. It was my home, it was my prison, it was my destiny." Today, the planet is still a popular destination of pilgrimage for players interested in the game's early history. While the planet has changed several times in the years since, you can still visit today if you'd like with the portal address shown on screen. Number 3. Early Adopter. Have you ever experienced buyer's remorse? Particularly after purchasing a game at full price? I know I have. In fact, I know a lot of players felt that way after purchasing No Man's Sky at launch back in 2016. I sure didn't, of course. I loved it, but plenty of people didn't. Those people felt like $60 USD was just too steep a price for the product they received. One guy, however, wasn't at all bothered by that $60 price tag. In fact, he wasn't even bothered by a $1,000 price tag. You see, Reddit user daymeeuhn paid over $1,300 for an early copy of No Man's Sky. While that might seem insane to a gamer like me who buys maybe 2 full-price games a year, daymeeuhn explained himself on Reddit, stating that he had a comfortable amount of disposable income and that being able to play a game like No Man's Sky without the risk of spoilers, or being able to look up the answers to puzzles, it was something he really wanted to experience. So for him, the price was totally worth it. Of course, the internet always has something to say about everything, so people took to Reddit to share their opinions on the dude. This was exacerbated after he began posting videos of his gameplay on daymeeuhn, which many people considered to be leaks. So now some people were upset about spoilers, others were upset about leaks, while others still just didn't like the idea of someone paying so much money to play a game pretty much just a few days early. daymeeuhn eventually stopped posting videos of his gameplay in order to let things cool off. However, another controversy sprang up after he announced he had reached the center of the galaxy in just about 30 hours. No Man's Sky launched soon after though, and his story was drowned out by the cacophony of crazy that was 2016. When asked by Kotaku if he regretted his purchase, daymeeuhn replied, "Absolutely not regretting it. And even if the game was an absolute bomb, which it is not, I still wouldn't regret it. This isn't the sort of decision where you make it and hope you get your money's worth out of it. The journey on finding out just how good the game is all part of the experience. Even if it doesn't live up to your wildest expectations, you have to know that coming into it and accept that it's all part of the process. So far, I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So I say, good for him." Number 2. Billboard? Does that pun work? I don't know. Well, today Hello Games released new content for No Man's Sky every few weeks. Back in 2019, there was about a 9-month period between titled updates, in which people had plenty of time to get hyped. In the midst of this hype was born an idea that is still legendary to this day. In June of 2019, a man by the name of Cameron Garrity organized a GoFundMe campaign on behalf of the r/No Man's Sky the Game subreddit. Cam's fundraiser was raising money to erect a billboard in Guildford near Hello Games Studio. You see, in the years since launch, No Man's Sky had not just improved in the eyes of its player base, but the gaming community at large. With Beyond just around the corner, public sentiment for Hello Games was at an all-time high up to that point. A billboard thanking the team for their hard work on display for both employees and the world to see seemed like a pretty brilliant idea. And it was. The campaign was successful, funding the billboard's deployment. The design featured the famous GIB emoticon that had become synonymous with the community's playful requests for patch notes and content. Below that read, "Thank you, Hello Games, from r/No Man's Sky the Game and explorers everywhere." Honestly, it was perfect. Sean and the team enjoyed it, and the community was equally pleased. However, that's not what makes this story legendary. I mean, it's like half of it, but you know what I mean. Since the community had donated more money than was needed for the billboard, the remaining funds were used to purchase game console bundles, which were then donated to the Sydney Children's Hospitals Foundation. As Cam later told Forbes, "I immediately knew I had to use this platform to give something back to the world." These consoles were set up in children's hospitals around Sydney and gave kids facing challenging circumstances more opportunities to socialize or just have fun. To this day, I still think it's one of the coolest things that the No Man's Sky community has ever pulled off. Alright, here we are. Number 1. Everywhere I Look. Now, our final entry definitely fits this video's theme of crazy No Man's Sky players. Seriously. A modder going by Winderson on Twitter went a little crazy back in summer of 2021. You know, come to think of it, I think all of these stories occurred between August and September of various years. Must be the summer heat or something, unless you're Australian, I suppose. Anyways, it was August 2021, and everyone was eagerly awaiting the release of No Man's Sky Frontiers, the big summer update of that year. However, Winder? I'm just gonna call him Winder. However, Winder couldn't stand the wait and decided to take matters into his own hands. On August 25th, 2021, he tweeted out a challenge to Sean Murray directly. It read, "At No Man's Sky, for every day the update is not released, I will put your head on one additional object in the game. And yes, this is a threat." Now, of course, I never advocate threatening or harassing game devs for any reason, but this was obviously pretty silly. Winder had taken this dumb meme about the No Man's Sky trailer and turned it into an actual thing in the game. As silly as it was though, Winder was serious. When August 26th rolled around without the update anywhere to be seen, Winder made good on his threat. This time he added Sean's head to the portal and warp effects. Not the direction I would have expected, but Impressive nonetheless. On day 3, he, content warning for the squeamish among you, he replaced the innocent blobs of No Man's Sky with Sean's head, which, ew. This one's not so bad though. Content warning over. On day 4, he replaced an entire biome with Sean's head. Flashing lights warning, I suppose. And yes, every individual static texture was replaced with a texture of Sean's face. You would think by now Sean and company might have given in to his demands, but Sean refused to yield. Flashing lights over. So, on day 5, Winder added Sean's head to those floating, farting fish things, but he didn't stop there. The so-called farts were also given the Murray treatment. Honestly, some of the best VFX work I've ever seen. He also updated a couple other creatures. As you can tell, this is not getting better. On day 6 of the update not releasing, Winder completely lost it and replaced the very ground you walk on with Sean's face. The grass beneath your feet, the bushes, all of it was now Seanified. So, after a week, I think it's safe to say that Winder had lost any sense of restraint. It was August 31st, and the update was nearly upon us. He took the opportunity to pretty much replace everything left with Sean's face. It's both maddening and beautiful at the same time. It's terrifying, yet captivating. A horror beyond description that you just can't look away from. Of course, Frontiers released the next day on September 1st, but Winder had one last surprise up his sleeve. The Sentinels and biological horrors had joined the affair. So, after the dust cleared, Winder compiled all of his changes into a free mod called Sean's Sean. It's a clever wordplay of No Man's Sky. From what I can tell, it's still supported as of recording this video, so knock yourselves out, I suppose. But that does it for my list of 5 of the craziest things No Man's Sky players have pulled over the years. What did you think? Were they crazy enough for you? Do you know of one even crazier? Let me know in the comments below. Bonus points if you mention that handsome guy who produced those No Man's Sky playing cards. He was almost too crazy for this list. And if you enjoyed the video or simply appreciate the hours of research and production it takes to bring it to life, leaving a like does more for me than you can possibly imagine. Well, unless you have a very active imagination, in which case it doesn't do, that much, so chill. But if you're interested in more deep dive and random content, especially about No Man's Sky, I would be glad to have you as a subscriber. As always, thanks for watching. As you know, I make the videos, but y'all make them successful. Trust me, they don't automatically get views just because I upload them. So, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!